What do you buy a 1-year-old for their birthday? So one of the hardest things I've had to deal with as being a parent of 2 little ones is answering the question, what does your baby want for their birthday or for Christmas? And then I have a panic of I don't know what to get my own children, let alone giving a list to other people, family members, friends who want to buy them a gift. I don't know, it's hard. It's hard work thinking about gifts for kids, especially babies, when they haven't got like any preferences yet, and you don't want to fill your house with junk, and you don't want things that are just gonna be loads of bits everywhere, and there's so much to think about when you're thinking about buying gifts for babies, or babies under the age of, I'd say under the age of 4, maybe more or less. So in this video, I'm going to give you a list of items which you can add to your little one's wish list, and so if someone says to you, what should I buy your baby for birthday, Christmas, a random day that I fancy buying your baby a gift for, you can choose something from this wish list and know that you're getting a gift which your baby will enjoy. This gift list is mainly for 1-year-olds, but I'm sure some of the items can be expanded onto elder kids as well. But these are things that I have personally bought my children when they turned 1, or I asked family members to buy my children when they turned 1. First of all, before we get into it, I just want to quickly introduce myself if you are new around here. Hello, my name is Caroline. I have a 3-year-old, very near almost 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and so I have been buying gifts for almost 4 years now, and so I kind of think I have an idea of what little people like and what they don't like or what they don't play with, and things that you might feel encouraged to buy and then regret that decision quite quickly. I did also do a YouTube short which I uploaded last week, which is a things you should buy versus things you shouldn't buy. I figured I'd do a longer video explaining more, just because the shorts are great, but sometimes people prefer longer form content. I know I personally enjoyed watching a longer form content video, and also in that short, it does, the idea of the short is to things I do and do not like, with 0 explanation. So I'm going to be explaining in this video. So I've got my phone here because I'm going to otherwise forget the things that I mentioned. Maybe before I do the things you should buy, I'm just going to run through a few things that you maybe should reconsider adding onto your baby's wish list, or just remove completely, because they're things that your children either won't like or you won't like, more importantly. So yeah, quickly run through those. First and foremost, something that I think has come to light a lot more recently in the past few years are bath toys with little holes in them, squeezy ones where they absorb water and you can squirt water out of them. They are a mold trap. Do not buy these. We have some, and the way we got around them is my husband had used a scalpel and cut out the bottom, and so they are not very good bath toys anymore, because obviously they don't squirt water into them, but they harbour black mold. So after about, maybe 3 or 4 weeks of these, you might start seeing black start forming on the inside of these little things, and they're going to have to go in the bin. So it's a waste of money. So don't buy squeezy bath toys. Remove them. If you have any in your house at the moment, please go check on them, and I guarantee you they will have mold in. I have had them in the past where I've tried to clean them and it's almost impossible. I've even put them in bleach and squeezed the bleach into them, but you can't get all the water out. It's impossible. So just don't buy these. Don't buy bath toys. It's a big no-no. Absolutely not. Another thing to maybe clarify with people is clothes your child will be wearing when they turn 1. So for example, I have 2 summer-born babies, one in August and one in July, and so the things that I despise when I get lovely dresses for my daughter or nice shorts for my son that are the size of 12 to 18 months, because realistically they will be 12 to 18 months for one chunk of the year before they grow out of it, obviously when they get to 18 months, and for that chunk of the year, the 12-month mark, they have to be in it on their birthday. Now, if they're already too small for the 12 to 18 month clothes, as my daughter currently is at the minute, for example, she's not in 12 to 18 month clothes yet, she might not get any wear out of these clothes at all, because obviously we're going into the winter months in a few months' time. And so 12 to 18 months clothes when they turn 1 in summer is pointless. Might as well give summer clothes for the ages of 2 to 3 or 18 to 24, if that makes sense, for my personal circumstances. So you need to maybe clarify with any family members who ask gift-wise, maybe just say to them, here's a list of gifts, FYI, if you wanted to buy any clothes for my kids, they will be in these sizes during these types of the year if you wanted to buy them something. They need a winter coat in this size. Just be specific, because otherwise you may end up with clothes which are completely wrong for the season, and it's just a bit disheartening, especially when you get a really nice item of clothing and you think, this perfect winter coat will only fit them in the summer months. So, you know, it's just maybe that's something to consider when people ask what they can buy your baby. Just maybe mention to them the sizes your kids are, and yeah, so that's that one. Something which people don't really consider are a choking hazard are things called water beads. These things look really cool. You can put them in water and they're like little balls, and they like expand with the water, and they look fun. Don't get me wrong, apparently they feel really fun and they look amazing. But I saw a video on TikTok of a little, I think it was a little boy or girl who's maybe 3 years old. I don't know the ins and outs of everything, but she swallowed water beads, and obviously as they absorb with water, it absorbed in her stomach. She had to go to hospital. She's in ICU for ages. Thankfully she was okay, but that's not something I'm willing to play with my kids. So water beads are a big fat no. Also, speaking of water beads, you can get this like squeezy, like they're like sort of stress relievers, but they're the kid versions. They're not stress relievers for kids, but they're like fun sensory things for kids. Just be wary that a lot of these are filled with water beads, and obviously if they were to burst, that's water beads all over the floor. So just be careful. Just maybe vet any squishy kids toys your kids may get for their birthdays or for any other time of the year, just to make sure they haven't got like the little beads inside them, because you might want to chuck them out straight away. And this is just a bonus one. Bouncy balls. Bouncy balls are my biggest bugbear. I don't understand why bouncy balls are made to that size, and they are the perfect choking hazard. A kid bounces on the floor, it bounces to the ceiling, the kid's looking up at it like this, and it goes straight in their mouth and chokes them, and then that's a big issue. Don't buy bouncy balls for kids. This is just like a thing. Party bags, check every single party bag your kids may get, because chuck away those bouncy balls. Cut them in half, or quarters in fact, and chuck them away straight away. Don't even get your kid anywhere near them. But I digress. Let's just carry on. And the final big fat no for birthday gifts are these books. I put a picture on the screen. They're these musical VTech books. These are horrible. Right, so my kids love these books. We have about four, or had about four of them. My kids absolutely adored them, but they don't have an off switch. And if they do, they can easily be turned on again. And without the batteries in them, they are boring for the kids. They don't do anything interesting. They just sing. And like I said, the kids love them. So if you have the patience of a saint, you may enjoy these books. But for me personally, after about a week of constant, oh my God, I had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and that's it, I was ready to lose my mind. So just again, if you get something like this, maybe ask for a receipt so you can return it. I don't recommend them because it will make you go insane. Let's move on to the fun bit. What do you buy your kids for their birthday? These are my favourite things that my kids have bought. First of all, if you haven't got them already, buy a musical instrument set for your kids. I know it's a bit odd, as I just was complaining about the musical books which make loads of irritating noises, and I'm now suggesting to buy musical instruments for your kids. But there's a difference. When your kid is bashing a tambourine about, or maracas, or jingle bells, just beware of the choking hazard for jingle bells, but anything like that, it's funny, it's good to see. You can join in. They're amazing. Kids absolutely love noisy toys. But the musical books just don't have any kind of interaction. The kid just turns page and it makes an irritating song. So that is why I recommend buying musical instruments for kids. They love them. My 1-year-old loves them, and she has always loved making noise, so she absolutely loves any musical instruments that she gets. And my son, who is 3, nearly 4, as I mentioned, also really enjoys making a noise, so he is a big fan of shaking the tambourine and whatnot about. But my 1-year-old does prefer the noisy toys more than my elder son does. So I would recommend adding musical instruments to your baby's wish list. Another thing, bubbles. Who doesn't love a bubble? Let's be serious. A bubble machine is the best thing. Put that on the top of your baby's wish list. I promise you. We've got one which is a whale, and you pour the liquid in and you turn it on, and the amount of bubbles this thing produces is insane. My whole garden was covered in bubbles. I love it. The only issue with this specific one is that if it is tilted at all, the liquid does come pouring out of the whale's mouth. Slightly irritating, but I loved it so much, and my son loved it so much when he got it for his birthday. My uncle, who bought it for my son, bought one for my nephew, his other grandnephew, is that correct? Every time the sun comes out, I can put it out, the bubbles go crazy. The kids can either play with the bubbles or they can ignore the bubbles, but it's just a nice feeling. It's just a nice ambiance when there's bubbles flying about. So highly recommend a bubble machine. Another thing which is slightly I would say a bit more advanced for 1-year-olds, but my son, I think, got this for his first Christmas, or maybe his second Christmas, I don't know. Either way, my 1-year-old loves this toy, and it doesn't matter that my son got it when he was older, my 1-year-old loves it. This is the is it the VTech? No, this is the Leapfrog ice cream scoop thing. So this is plastic, okay? It's not great for the environment. It's full of plastic. If you can get it secondhand, get it secondhand. But my 1-year-old adores this ice cream maker. Admittedly, we've taken the batteries out of it because it does make annoying noises. So we've taken the batteries out of it and it just doesn't have any sound to it, and it works fine without the sound. And obviously the aim of the game is that you have little like recipe cards and you make the ice creams as per the recipe cards and you give them to the imaginary customers. Obviously my 1-year-old is not doing that. To be fair, neither does my 3-year-old, and he understands what's going on. My 1-year-old just loves the bits, is taking bits off and throwing them about. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, who wants toys with lots of bits to it? Not me. But this one here, I don't know what it is. It's quite a sturdy gift, it's quite big, it's impractical, but it is very popular. I do really recommend it because it's something that it's one of those toys that gets so much use. So my 3-year-old, nearly 4-year-old still plays with it now, and now my 1-year-old's playing with it. So it has a long shelf life. It's not one of those toys that gets played with for 15 minutes and then's forgotten about. It is just constantly being used. And so I do really recommend this. It's not cheap, I think it's about £50. So maybe put it as like a higher ticket item if someone wants to be really, really generous. But yeah, I do really recommend this thing, and I really like it. It's like it gives me, I don't know why, it makes me feel nostalgic, even though I didn't have anything like this when I was a kid, but it makes me feel really happy. And it's like an open-ended toy, so my son can walk around with it and makes us ice creams. And so I can imagine my 1-year-old will be doing that soon as she gets older and understands what the idea of ice creams are. But yeah, this Leapfrog ice cream stand is fantastic. I love it. It's one of the best gifts that we've got. Annoyingly, I haven't got any in here with me. I'm currently in my son's bedroom. And my daughter is napping, and so I can't get any of these books out to show you, but any book for a baby is fantastic. You can never say no to a good book. So if you have any type of books that you really like, add them to your kids' wish list because they will read them. Again, they have a very long shelf life, even if your baby doesn't understand what the heck they're going on about at the age of 1. By the time they're like 4, 5, 6, they will do. So just put any book that you like, doesn't matter the age range on it. A book series which are just great. The storyline is rubbish, but the best books that I have bought for my kids and have asked for gifts for my kids are the That's Not My series. They are the brand Usborne, which people are a bit iffy about, I believe, because they are, I believe now, like an MLM situation. But these books are great, so don't worry about that. These books are great. You can get a wide variety of, creatures and objects and things. That's not my dinosaur, that's not my bus, that's not my koala, that's not my narwhal, that's not my unicorn. There's so many options, and it's hard not to want to buy them all because they are such lovely books. My son obviously isn't interested in them anymore because they are too babyish for him, but my daughter loves them. She can turn the pages because they're thick enough. I will be like, that's not my koala, its belly is too soft, or whatever the words are, and I'll rub where the patch of the book is soft because that's a sensory book. I mentioned that's a sensory book, and so she will also start rubbing it and she'll start feeling the senses, the rough patches, the smooth patches, and it's just so engaging. It's funny to see how much she is understanding of the book because she can now look at the pages and go, oh, that part of the page is different to the rest of it because that bit is sticking out, that's rough, it's just great. They're just a really great series of books, so I do recommend that. I think they're like £7 a book or something, so they're super inexpensive and they're great, and they get your baby engaged, and it's just a nice book to read to your baby before they go to bed because obviously they have very short attention span, so they're like, I say about 8 pages long at a push. There are different variations of these. I know that Jellycats also do a version of these books. We have a couple of those, but I prefer the That's Not My because I just do. Something that my son got for his first birthday, and so this is definitely a hit or miss type gift. It's up to you as a personal preference. A ball pit. Some people absolutely swear by their ball pits, some people cannot stand their ball pits. I am 50-50. So my son did really enjoy his ball pit, but currently now is in the loft because we haven't got the space for it in our house at the moment because we just have lots of other bits all over the place. But I know my daughter would really love it. Obviously, problem with ball pits is there are lots of balls, and when they get thrown out, it's really annoying. We found our ball pit became more of a toy storage area after a while, so we did put it away and was like, we'll get that out later at another date. But yeah, so I do recommend a ball pit if you think you can handle it. Like I say, it can be a bit overwhelming when you have balls everywhere, or the ball pit is filled with things that aren't the balls, and the kid doesn't play in it, or they just sit in the ball pit to watch TV, and you think, what was the point, because you're not actually using it as a ball pit. So yeah, just think about a ball pit before you buy it, because don't buy it on the assumption your kid's going to play in it all the time, because they won't. So buy it if you are prepared to deal with balls everywhere. Just let that be known. This is your warning. Don't buy a ball pit unless you are prepared for the tidy up. Another firm favourite, of course, is wooden food. We love wooden food here. Again, maybe not so much for a 1-year-old, but again, my daughter loves going through my son's wooden food and looking at it all, pulling them apart by the Velcro attachment. And although again, she has no idea what any of the things are, she does really enjoy them because they're bright colours. It's just engaging for her. And again, they've got a long shelf life because my son thoroughly loves playing with his wooden fruit and vegetables and things like that, and so does my daughter. So I know that we'll have a good long time playing with them. So even if someone was to buy it for your child for their first birthday and they don't play with it straight away, you know that they'll, by the time they're 18 months and beyond, they will definitely be playing with it. So it's a good thing to add onto your wish list for your baby. I'd say the final thing is something we bought for our daughter very recently for her first birthday. And this is the first time we bought one of these type of things, because I've always thought, what's the point? It's a little like space hopper, but a baby version. So our one is a giraffe one, simply because it was the cheapest one we could find online. Our one was from Argos. And it's a little like, yeah, a little bouncy giraffe. She sits on it and she bounces on it. And something that she actually really does enjoy playing with. It's impractical because you've got to pump it up, and it is sort of bulky. It's not like too in your face. It's only about this big, but it obviously is a bigger item than your average book or, you know, ball. But it's something that she really enjoys. And now she's like, well, she is walking, but I know obviously lots of 1-year-olds maybe not be walking at that point, but it's something where if your kids can pull themselves up, they will enjoy bouncing on it. It's great when we go in the garden, we could bring it into the garden and we don't have to like worry about her sitting on the grass where it's a bit scratchy, because she can just sit on this thing and bounce up and down. My 3-year-old also does really enjoy bouncing on it, which is slightly concerning because I'm concerned he's going to pop it. Although I do think he can go up to the age of like 6, 7, 8 in weight, but I'm just scared that my son might pop it. But he does really enjoy it too. So it's something that again has a great shelf life because my older kid is playing with it. It's a gift where I think that could get a bit in the way or not played with as much as the days and weeks go on, but for the minute it's really well played with. And I think it's one of those things, if you put it away for a couple of weeks and bring it back out again, it will just have like a whole new lease of life and will be played with for quite a long period of time. My daughter just loves sitting on it and bouncing while she watches TV. It's great fun. It's hilarious to watch as well. But yeah, that is everything. That is my longer explanation of the gifts that I do and do not like for 1-year-olds. What do you think? Is there anything that I've missed off that I think that you think I should add to this list? What are things that your 1-year-old has loved? Is there anything on my list which I've said is a good gift that actually you think is a bad gift, or vice versa? Anything I've said is bad which you think is actually good? Let me know in the comments. But if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a big fat thumbs up, and please do subscribe if you are not subscribed already. I'm also over on Instagram and TikTok as well if you wanted to give me a follow over there as well. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.